Okay, let's begin. We're going to start at go over Yachud. Now again, in an hour and a half, it's almost impossible to go through whole Yachud, but we'll try as much as possible. We could go through.
Are we starting?
And we'll go from there. Okay, the first thing is like this.
Are we starting with Yachud? Is there the?
This is what they told me. What else?
The halacha of I know the book in front of me. I thought Yachud was next week. Somebody else had the book in front of them?
He just said that. That's what he's starting. Try to listen.
What is? Let me just clarify. I have this week Yachud, and next week it is going to be someone else. Afterwards is going to be I think mechitza, something like that. Mechitza, correct?
Yachud is mifka shiny, the zweite meeting. The erste meeting is similar.
Similar what? Okay, let me just see what I got. I got Tezain oder Beis, Yachud, Chov Gimel oder Beis, Harza'a me Yitzchak Raskin, Alav Nissen, Mechitze Betfille, Besides, Beyeruim and Beshiirim, and then after Pesach is going to be Shiirim and Mezizah and Tzedukah.
Of the erste class doing the Sefer is Simon Chaf Alef, Mifka Rishon, the erste class, the Chele Gimel from the course, is Israchik mit Abeze Bechayva Baller Erva, and Israchik mit Arois, Simon Chaf Alef, and that's the ganze Shir of the erste. But Yachud is the zweite Shir, the next Shir. Mifka Shiny, right?
Welche which week?
Das weiß ich nicht. It is mamish following the system. Aber Mifka Shiny is Yachud. Yachud is
Nein, ich habe ein anderer schedule. I'm sorry. So, die Woche is Yachud. Ich kann machen ein Shir auf Simon Chaf, but it's not for yet. It's not for now. Da haben wir es gelernt, oder was? Da haben wir gelernt Yachud?
Ich habe angefangen, getan Chaf, in mitten Chaf Alef. Ich habe nicht, Yachud nicht getan. Ne, was wenn Mifka Shiny.
Okay, wir haben da noch, ist noch was man das lernen wird. Das wäre eine Sache lachter und eine Sache. Ich weiß mit, bei mir ist mehr Schiklulige Union, die Union klulige Sachen.
Okay, Schkeuer.
Sorry, this is what I got in
Okay, Schkeuer.
Kijk, man hat sich nicht zerräuft. Okay. Hilches Yachud, this is one of the wichtigste halachas, one of the most important halachas was in a shaykh. Nach Roinim zugen, as although es kimt sie banyonom, wo sie seinen der Rabbones kemma bechal Michael zan, mehr liniert, aber bei Hilches Yachud, a viele was is alle Burvi, man wollte sehen, wenn es da reisen, wenn es der Rabbonen, after pecan, is it is a sagen was man mehr macht sagen why? Because after all Yachud is the gader for Aroyes. That means we are not Yosef Tzadik in Be'etzem as when in someone soen front of us head on. It's almost impossible to weiß das Yosef Tzadik das kann machen. So gesagt der Teure sind weggestellt gedurim aber so gaza schon schicken mit die innen of Aroyes, but my das in für Yachud. Das in dem so der Rambam in Hilches Siribia eigentlich dober galatoire kille was die kosche der roivo am lifrish elemen Aroyes. Vabies asiras. In the Amri Chazal, as Beshush and Stavis through Aroyes buchi, they were crying, the kibli mitzazibet arumas, the bechia. That's why the pasuk says boiche le mishpachoisef. Alis ke mishpachoisef. Akaponam Maila in Yona Yachud is a but there was always a was the Rishonim zugen that you have to be machma. As the Rambam writes, the Gemara says that one of the Tanum said, one of the Marum said, he's a Arabi mipna biti. You should watch out. I shouldn't have a Yachud with my daughter. Was although a daughter, a father, and a daughter, there's not a problem of Yachud. We see Yakaponim and Yachud is in if you machbar zan. Mit der Kinder sucht es andere Sachen, andere Post mehr reden davon. Is also Mina Teure is also for a person, one-on-one is min ha-Torah. That means a person should have yichud together with a lady, one-on-one is also min ha-Torah. Favos the illusion is sheduver ze goyrem legalas legili erva. This brings yichud, a man and a woman brings am zatikim mit in von gili arois. So as the Torah had goy khoshe gewein as. Let me ask before I go further. Ich kenne of Yiddish, or there are people who don't understand.
Negative.
What?
Negative. I do not. I don't speak Yiddish.
What?
Negative.
Gar nicht,
I don't
gar
speak
nicht.
Yiddish.
Verstehst gar nicht.
Versteht gar nicht. Okay, so we'll try then to go a little bit more in English. Okay. Yichud is a thing which brings you to Arois. If a person has Yichud, he gets, so to speak, excited, and automatisch kann sich mit in von Arois, and therefore the Torah hat geassert, aber sich bejachad sein. Sie meinen Torah. From where do we see it in the Torah? Is the Chazal learns Arois from the Pasuk. It says in Pasuk, Sischu, Achichu, Beni Mechu. If your brother, the daughter, the son of your mother, will tell you to quiet, will tell you to sin with avodah zarah. So the Gemara asks, why does the Torah say Achichu beni mechu? Your brother, a son of your mother, and if it's a son of your father, you have a brother which is a son of your father. That is the same thing. Why does the Torah say Achichu beni mechu? So Chazal darshan that the Torah comes to teach us that a person has a heter to be meyachad with his mother. From over here, we see that a person has a heter to be meyachad with his mother. That means, although a Torah it's also to be yichud one-on-one, but a person with his mother is not a problem to have yichud. The same will also be with your daughter. A person has no problem to be meyachad with his daughter. So from this, we learn that all other men and women, it's also beyichud. Dafka with your mother, with your daughter, but when it comes to other women, it's also min ha-Torah. And that's the pasuk from where we learn that one-on-one is doa isa min ha-Torah. Midrabanan, they answered even if it's more than one woman. Now, there are poskim which say even two women is also min ha-Torah, but the kapunim askumas fin the poskim la lucha is that it is only midrabanan. That means one man and two women, or vice versa. Two men and one woman. In a case where there's yichud, as we're going to see, it's only midrabanan. So when it comes to gewisse shalas or gewisse tzarifim, we could be lenient because it's a drabanan, so we could be a little bit more lenient. So min ha-Torah, the iser is has to be an erva. So an erva is a aishas ish. Is an erva. Kimivin mishpocha that is an erva, but also aishas ish is an erva, and the same is also with a nida. To have yichud with a girl, which is a nida, which that's basically is an erva, it's also min ha-Torah. If it's a girl which is not a nida, that means she never saw her yet. So that we're going to see. And it's nicht min ha-Torah, it's only goes again, be my duvet hamelech. When it comes to chayv alav, is it also for a person to have yichud with someone which is a chayv alav or a eser? That means could a kohen gadol be meyachad with someone which is not which is a beula, but again, she's not a nida. Because if she's a nida, it's automatically erva. Homer is a machloekes a poiskum if it's a deraisa, if it's a drabunan. Zu poskum which hold the beshmil halt as is a deraisa, and Pischachivah brings down Tama Melech with Atzaruzi with andere poiskum which holds it is only a drabunan. So it got my big nafkimina when you say if it's a deraisa of his drabunan, because we know if a chayv alavim, for instance, is deraisa, there's a big ramification. For instance, a lady has to go into the hospital on Shabbos. Yeah. Now she has a driver, which is one driver, and so it's yichud deraisa. Yeah. because it is a one-on-one. Now, there's a machloikas of the Rishonim if a Fazraide avoid zura is Bechlal, if a Fazraide avoid zura, if there is Bechlal a Chiyaf Yeherig Val Yaver or not. Some poskim hold that basically it is Yeherig Val Yaver, which is the Balamor, the Ramban, Daran, hold that basically it is Ochet Yeherig Val Yaver. And they bring a raya from the Gemara, the famous Gemara, which the Gemara says that there's a man who fell in love with a girl and he became sick. And Chazal said they cannot have relations. Then they asked maybe he could talk with her Bachoira Geder, and the Chazal answered, Yumis, he should die, and she cannot talk Bachoira Geder. So if you don't remember the Rishonim that even Vachai Valaven, it's also an Indian of Yeherig Val Yaver. Lemaise, other poskim disagree with it, and the whole it's not Yeherig Val Yaver. So it's Mashmin the Ramun, it's Makif Nizayin, in the Radvas with andere Rishonim, it's not Yeherig Val Yaver. But if you say, now we have another machlokes, the Chai Valaven is it's a Vazraide with Zura Chai Valaven is Yeherig Val Yaver. If a Chai Valaven is Yeherig Val Yaver, so there will come times that basically not to have Yichud, you should have Yeherig Val Yaver. So basically, it will come a time then we will say that a lady has to go into a hospital, and it is a problem of Yichud, and therefore maybe she cannot take it to the hospital. But Lamaset Achroinam, the Spätige Achroinam, hold that basically it's Gaimanish Azoivat, and we hold that that for Pekich Nefesh is a Vazraide is Geit nicht dran negate von a Vazraide. Das heißt, andere avoid a Vazraide de Zura, you don't have to have a Yeherig Val Yaver. So therefore, Pekich Nefesh is doichen. So in such a case, since Yichud goes around in the gate of Vazraide de Zura, and according to Daran, a lady could not go in a hospital with a man one-on-one because it's a shalaf and a Vazraide de Zura, and you have a Yeherig Val Yaver. But the Achronim Lamaase they pasken that for Zraya avoid the Zura, you don't have to have Mesiras Nefesh of Yeherig Val Yaver. So therefore, Namatz from Kich Nefesh. Now again, if you could take along a person, that's something else. But in a case which you cannot take along a person, then that's the Shala. Now, guys, it's not practical because today's day Hatzolo will have more than one person, so automatically it is not a Drabonon, so then it's not a Shala. But even if it would have been a Draisa, since it's a Vazraide avoid the Zura, a Vazraide Giliaroyas, we have to going into this machloikas, Lamas, we're going to pass that he could go to take it to the hospital.
What does Bezrai mean?
Avazrai means it's not Gileroy's mamish, but it's like Chibig Venishik. Yeah, Chibig Venishik is a Vazrai de Gileroy's. It's awesome, but it's not Gileroy's mamish. I don't know how to translate the Vazrai, but it touches Gileroy, something like that. You know. It's close to Gilearoy's, but it's not Gilearoy's. So the machlokes is if you have to have Mesiras Nefesh, Yeherig Val Yaver Vazraide avoid the Zura, then okay, then you have to have Mesiras Nefesh, and you cannot have Yichud one-on-one. If you don't have to have Yeherig Val Yaver Vazraide the Gilearoy's, then it's not a problem, and one-on-one ambulance driver could take a lady into the hospital. Lamaise is Mamaichel by Inif Matzah from Pekich Nefesh. Now, in Yichud, they have to know it's not no difference if the man is an older person, and it could be a 90-year-old man, and he doesn't have basically even Gviris Anoshim. He doesn't have he doesn't have any temptations, or an old lady. It's the same halacha. There's no difference in halacha. It's also Yichud. And the Rai was the Rishonim bringen is from Rav Amram. The Gemara tells the Gemara in Masechtas Kedushin, end of Kedushin, the Gemara writes that Rav Amram was an older person, and he had such a taiva that he saw a reflection of a girl in a house. He carried a ladder which 10 people had to carry. He carried it by himself because he became so excited to do Avaira, and started going up the ladder, and then he screamed, "There's a fire in the house of Rav Amram." You talk about the Kedosh Elyon. We see that even by them, there is nisyonis, and even by them, even as an older person, is there's no heter to become of a yichud. The only way when we might have a heter is if you have a person which is in a wheelchair and the doctors say that that basically it's not possible to him to get aroused, then something else that some people will say it's only a drabanan. In Mamayla b'shas chag, we might have some hatayrim, and you have to ask it off in such a case. But till that matzav, then is a yichud is no difference if it's a child. Once it goes in the categories of yichud, it is a problem. It's also not different if it's in a house or if it's in a desert. If a person goes hiking, for instance, in a mountain, and he finds himself at top of the mountains, he himself, together with a woman, with a lady, yeah. So it's a yichud. Since people do not walk there, it's a deserted area. Or he goes, for instance, in the middle of the winter, he will go to a bungalow colony, which is a shala, which I had already practical sometimes. A person wants to take out a goita to clean a bungalow, for a Shabbos. He takes the goita out. The man takes the goita out in the bungalow colony, in his house, and that's yichud. Although even if it's not in the house, even if it's in the fields, if it's a place where people do not walk around. And even if you didn't intentionally going there to be miyachad, it is only you went for a hiking and you came across to a space which you and a lady is over there, one-on-one. It's a deraisa. You have to just walk away. It's not only because you went direct. Even if you found yourself in a matzav of yichud, you have to run away. It's not a difference if you're talking or not talking. Being in a place, you and a woman, which there's no other people around, is a matzav of yichud, and it's also mina Torah if it's one-on-one. If it's more than one-on-one, then it's also only midrabanan. What is the time of yichud? Is there a specific time? How long it's a problem, or less than that it's okay? So there's a machloek achronim on this. The Asa Machroinim, which is the Maril Diskin, which holds that if it's a matzav of yichud, you are now in a matzav of yichud, even for 1 minute, it's osur. That means if you are going into a house, you open the door, a lady opens the door for you, you're going for tzedukah, whatever it should be, nobody is at home, and you ask for the lady, I want to use the men's room for half a minute. It's osur. It's only 1 minute, it's only half a minute, it's osur. Since when you go into that house, it's going to be a matzav of yichud, so automatically that is a problem. Then it's isser yichud. It's no difference even if it's a tiny drop of time. Since it's a matzav of yichud. Other poskim say no. If it doesn't have a shir yichud, then it's not a problem. We'll get a minute what's the shir yichud. But akaponam, if it doesn't have the shir yichud, the zman of yichud, it's not a problem. Now, askumas achroinim, not like this poskim. The askumas achroinim is in a matzav of yichud, it's also even for a half a second. It's also because you are in a matzav of yichud. When it's not a problem. If you are not in a matzav of yichud, then it's not a problem. For instance, if a person goes into an elevator, and
Even
there's a lady in the elevator.
ish?
Now, you are going to be with a lady one-on-one in an elevator. But you are not in a matzav of yichud because any second or any minute, the elevator is going to stop because somebody other pressed the key. Although you could stop the elevator, but that's only you could do a ma'aser. We don't see a problem. You don't see a iser that if it's a matzav that it's not the matzav of yichud, you could do a matzav of yichud, it should be a problem. So therefore, if a person goes into an elevator, and the elevator is an elevator which could stop at every floor, so it's not a matzav that you could become a matzav of long time yichud. Although it's going to be, let's say, a minute or two. If you're going up the Empire State Building, it will take us probably 2 minutes, 3 minutes. But since you are not of a matzav of yichud, because every second someone could push the button and can stop it. So in such a case, is nishduka problem of yichud. Again, according to the other poskim, the minority poskim which say that even if a drop is will be a problem, but the skumas achronim is to make a chilik. If you are in a massive yichud, that means you're going into a house. Now, if you don't do anything, it's still you're going to stay here for as man yichud for 15, 20, half an hour. You have to go out. But if you are in a matzah, as you are now together with her, you are not a matzah yichud, because someone could press the button, so then it's not a problem. And that is basically the skumas achronim. So therefore, to drive with an elevator with a lady one-on-one will not be a problem according to Ribeke Kila Poskem, and that's the meaning. Now again, if you want to be the machmir like the Betzalel Chochma, which holds it is a problem. Tuvul brucha, but akapunam skumas achronim in such a case is not a problem. But if it's a matzah yichud, going into a house, even going into a house just to take something, that's a problem. You have to have all the klula maheter that you should be able to go in. We will see. There are other ways how to do it. But if it is a matzah yichud, it is a problem. What is the shear of yichud? What's the geder of shear yichud? Is azoi. In the Chazal, in Poskim, we don't see Bechlal. That's one of the arguments of the people who say that it's always awesome. He says they don't see in Shulchan Aruch that there's such a thing as as time of yichud. But according to other poskim, say that since in Masech in Hilchot we see that in order after a husband had gemacht kini on his wife, in order she should become aser and she has to drink the morim in Besamigdash my morim, she'll have to have a stira. What is the stira? Is the Gemara says kedai legalgil a egg, that means to cook. It's not really cooking, it's to make it a little bit hard, a raw egg, and legomo, to swallow it down. That's the geder. And the poskim have a machlokes is what is the time. Some poskim say 5 minutes, other poskim say 3 minutes, other poskim say even 7 minutes. Lamaisa skumas achroinim is that a matzah for yichud is the problem is a 5 minute matzah. So if it's a 5 minute matzah, that's the geder of yichud, and therefore then a person is going to be in a matzah for 5 minutes in an elevator, which it's not going to open, then you're going to have a problem. But if it's less than 5 minutes, since it's not a matzah of yichud, it's only that you could make it just stop, which again, we don't see a issa that it's not a matzah of yichud, and we should say that I'm afraid maybe you're going to do a matzah of yichud. This is not. For instance, we have a halacha we're going to see soon. If a person is in a house and the door is open, it's not yichud. So why don't we choshid that maybe he's going to close the door? The teretz is we are not choshid in such an azam engaged. You are closing the door, then you have matzav of yichud. It's a problem. But since it's not a matzav of yichud, you have to do something to be a matzav of yichud. Then there's a problem. So therefore, an elevator, which is it takes 5 minutes till it opens, then you have a problem. Then it's also yichud. But if you don't have 5, and if it's less than 5 minutes, which I doubt if you have an elevator which will take 5 minutes, even to the Empire State Building, I don't think it will take you 5 minutes. So then, according to most poskim, it's not a problem of inyan of yichud.
So that means even if someone could open it, if it's going to be close to 5 minutes, there's a problem.
If somebody can open it, that's right, it's a problem. Only if it goes in, if the klolo heter, which we're going to see soon, that Pesach Pesach could also be, let's say, for instance, if you are beyichud in a house, and let's say your children live next door, or they have keys to coming into the house, or people pop in, it's a place which people pop in, and it's the norm to pop in without telling, that's an extra heter. But if it's a matzah yichud, and nobody walks in, even if it's for 2 minutes, it is a problem. And it's a very important thing, because I know when I was in Monsey, sometimes Mishalochim would ask if you could use the men's room. Now, if I'm there, it's not a problem, because, Bala together with the husband. But if it's a lady itself, there's no heter that she should let him in to use the men's room, because that's a matzah of yichud.
So you're saying in the elevator, if it's a 5 minutes, even if someone could open it and come inside the middle, it's a problem or it's not a problem?
No, if someone can order it within the 5 minutes, it's not a problem. Only if you have an elevator, which will take 5 minutes, which nobody can open, then you're going into problems.
I thought you said even 1 minute's a problem for that.
Again, let's make it clear. When you are in a matzav of yichud, then it's even for 1 minute. But an elevator which is going to open, it's not a matzav of yichud, because it's going to open automatic. People can come in. But since it is in a matzav that basically 5 minutes, nobody could walk in, so over here, you're going into problems. Here's the chilik. Since it is a matzav which people could walk in, but there is 5 minutes which they cannot, so that's already as money, then now there is a problem.
There's no potential for more than 5 minutes. That's the difference.
What?
There's no potential to stay for more than 5 minutes secluded. That's the reason why.
If there is a potential to stay more than 5 minutes without somebody should interfere, then you don't get the problems. Yeah. But if there is a matzav in yichud, then it's even for a minute a problem. Again, if a man walks into a house, and as of now, you are in a matzav of yichud, then you don't need 5 minutes to be osir. It's right away osir.
If there's a potential that you can stay more than 5 minutes without anybody
exactly.
walking
If you don't do anything, you stay. You're in a matzav of yichud. In the elevator, you're not in a matzav of yichud if you don't do anything. Because after 5 minutes, you're going to come to the second floor or whatever, the next floor, and automatically is going to be a matzav of yichud. Then you have a zman of yichud.
But the house door is open, anybody can walk in.
Yeah, but that's a different hatter. That's called Pesach Pasich L'Shisram, as we're going to see soon, if it has to be opened or it has to be unlocked. But even then, it has to be a matzav that people could walk in. If you're living in England, which is no such thing, so somebody should open the door without ringing the bell and somebody should come and open the door, then exactly, you don't have, or some places over here, it's going to be like that. There's no such thing, somebody pops in. And if it's not a matzav, somebody pops in, so tahostan is that for Pesach Pasich Shisramtak and a Charam. Pesach Pasich is only in a matzav in a time also that people who walk in, as you're going to see at night, at 3 o'clock in the morning, you have open the door, nothing is going to help.
But no elevator goes for 5 minutes.
This is what I'm saying. It's not practical. This is exactly what I was saying before. Okay. It's not practical. It's even in the Empire State Building, which you have to go up 102 floors. It won't take 5 minutes. So on the elevator, automatically, it's not a problem. According to most places, again, some places will say it is a problem. So we mentioned before that a son could be meyachid with his mother, and a father can be meyachid with his daughter. Now, this is not only your mother; it's the same thing will be also your grandmother, your great grandmother, your daughter, your anicle, your great granddaughter. It goes up all the way and down all the way. Now, there's a Moshe which wants to be a machmar. If the daughter of your son, that means if it's your granddaughter, but from your son. So he wants to say that since your daughter-in-law is also bayichid, the daughter could also, but nobody accepts this ruling. And we are Michael Bepoyel with a granddaughter to have yichid. And the same will be with your grandmother. Now again, grandmother means a blood grandmother, not a grandmother which is your wife's grandmother. And not that's yichid mamash adaraisa. I'm talking your grandmother, your mother's mother, your father's mother, and up, it won't be a problem of yichid. If mother and the son, there's not a problem of yichid, even though, for instance, the son was alienated from his mother and only recently became reconnected. It's still a mother, and since it's a biological mother, it's not a problem of yichid. Now, if you have a adopted child, which is basically adopted from the day of birth, and basically she might not even know that she's adopted, it is a Isser Yichid. As we know, the Rebbe made a big shturim in the beginning of the 50s. People did not know that, and people was very lenient for adopted, and they wanted to say that if you don't hug them, if you don't have Yichid with them, they're going to smell that they're adopted, and that's psychological will make damage. And the Rebbe was fighting against that, and he asked all the Rebbeim should write against it. And And that's a very important thing. We have to know that if you adopt a child that is Isser Yichud, as if it is someone which you don't know, and it's also Yichud. It's even worse, because in such a case, the door is Liba Gazba. As we can see a concept in halacha, that if you have someone which you grew up with them, let's say for a sister-in-law, which you came in the family when she was a child, she grew up together with you, some halachas, it's worse than a regular yichud, because liba gazba, you're very close with her. It's very, it's very comfortable with her. So an adopted child, they have the same problem. You're very comfortable to her. So therefore, it's even worse than a regular person which you don't even know. With your sister, it's not a problem to have yichud, but even ara. That means you could stay by her, even sleep by her at house. If it is a matzav of arai, then even if she's alone and you're alone, there's not a problem of yichud. If it's a kviyas, it's osir. What is a kviyas? We have a machlokes achronim. Some poskim will say 30 days. Some poskim will say not more than 3 days. And even if it is a matzah from a shorter period of time than 30 days, has to be a matzah of ara. That means not about kviyas, so to speak. So sometimes it is a matzah of kviyas, even it's less than that. So Akapuram, Achronim say that mitzad haluch is shver to aser. It's very hard to aser if it's less than 30 days. A lot of persons say it shouldn't be more than 3 days. I would always advise, if it's parents, which I had this question more than once, leaving a boy and a girl a week alone. They want to go for a vacation for a week, wherever they want to go out of town, and they have a daughter which is 17 and a boy which is 19 and 20, and they want to leave the child alone. I always advise that they shouldn't do it, even less than 3 days. And for 3 days, I say you have to take on the ruling of the poskim, which say 3 days is some kind of kviyas, because there's a lot of problems in this kind of things. So therefore, you have to be more machmar and push it. A good advice also that it's not a thing to do, even if you want to be Michael like the other poskim. It's not kedai to do such thing. But I can put him mitzad halucha till 30 days. It's not a problem. Or the poskim itself say, which say that shloibe kviyas is mitter, they finish va machmar tuvu ulav brucha, even shloibe kviyas. So we have to remember to be machmar on that is an azach which the poskim itself write that you should be machmar more than that. But for instance, if you are even living bekviyas by your brother, bekviyas for your brother. Let's say you have a young man with his wife. Take in the brother-in-law, which is in yeshiva, should sleep with them every night. Now, although it will be, it's a matzav of kviyah, because he's there for the next 5 years. The brother lives in Kranite, the bocher is in 770, and 1414 is full. You have to sleep by your sister-in-law, by your brother. Although that's a matzav of kviyah, zung the poskim, but since she has a husband with her, although he might go away for business, let's say, for instance, for a day or two, that's considered also shloibe kviyas, because the matzav yichud is shloibe kviyas. Although the living there is a kviyas, the matzav yichud is shloibe kviyas, so therefore you could be lenient. Again, in such cases that you go more than the halacha, because in such cases also you're going into problems. A person which became a ger, and his sister became a ger, his mother became a ger. So although we have a halacha that basically Gershon is a guy couldn't shlole do, so maybe it's a problem for him to be miyachid with his mother because he have no halachic connection. So since biological they are connected, so there's not a yichid, because yichid has to do with the biological metzias of taiva. Therefore, in such a case, it is not a problem. And the Ein Yitzhara Shoydel Azeh. Okay, so now let's get further. Yichdim Peniya. Penuya, it is mitzad halucha if she's tohira. If she's tamaya, it's a erva, it's asim in a tohira. If she is Tahira, they have a girl which is basically 9 years old, 8 years old, she never saw a dam, she's Tahira. To have yichud with her is nicht min Tahira. Again, if it's not a sister, if it's your wife's sister, even if it's 3 years old or 4 years, I mean, put him 8 years old, it is also min Tahira because that's an erva. But I'm talking about a thing which is not an erva. You know, your neighbor wants to send in their 8-year-old daughter, and you should be the babysitter. Is mitzad adin what is a problem, but mitzad Torah is a problem. But when there was the story of Amnon and Vesomer, that we all know the story which says in Tanakh that one son of David HaMelech had relations with forced relations with Tamar. Then am ze goizer gewein of yichud penia teure. Again, penia temaya is min teure. Then am ze goizer gewein yichud penia teure. So therefore, that's also yichud. Again, we are frume Yidden. We are not Reform Jews. So the Rabbanon is also the same as the Raisa. So therefore, it's also. Then came Shammai v'Hillel and made yichud. He said yichud also on a goy. Now, although a goy, it's not a problem of yichud because although she's a nida, it's not considered a nida. A kaponim in the terms which we are talking about by a yid, but therefore Zayim Goizer Geshama Vil Gozri Anakutis, that even though by a girl we could say Mat Goizer Gewein because after a while she will become an erva mamash because once she starts seeing a nida, she's going to, this girl will become a nida deraisa. It can happen to be yichud deraisa, stay from Charalam Gasser, do with the Melech Gasser, but a goy can never come in a matzav of a deraisa because a goy stays a goy. So therefore, after the kenem sham of hille goyze gewein, as a yid to sich shmiyach zam with a goyte. That means if you have a cleaning lady in your house and you are in your house, it is also to have yichud in your house. You cannot stay in the house together with the cleaning lady because that's iser yichud v'sham of hille goyze gewein. Now, if you're a Kohen, that's Isa Deraisa, because a Goita with a Kohen, that's goes together in of Zoina. But even if it's not, you're not a Kohen, it's still Aser Midrabonon. Now, if this cleaning lady is married, some poskim say that we have Iser Eser, because the Gemara Dashans, so at least we see that there's some kind of issues by a goy. So therefore, in such a case, there are some poskim which say that's also a problem, minatoira. But hakaponam, even if she's not married and even she is a goita, it is iser yichud together mitzad midrabanan. There is a halacha that if you have yichud with a lady, yeah, and your wife is with you, then it's not a problem of yichud. That means you are sitting in your house and you have a meeting with a lady, a business meeting. Your wife is in the house, or even some places can want to go a little bit more lenient and say, even if she's in the backyard or the front yard, she's in the vicinity of the house, in the chotzer, then it's called ishta meshamrason. The wife protects the husband. We're going to see soon that when it comes vice versa, a man is going to have yichud with a woman, and the husband is in town. It's not a problem of yichud because the husband is in town. When it comes the opposite way, that the wife is in town, it's not a heter. A man could not have yichud with a lady if, let's see, for instance, a lady which is a nida, and she's not married, so there's no heter of bala be'ir, or the husband is not in town. This that her wife is around, that's a heter. But if she is in town, that's not going to be a heter. There's no heter of ishtoi be'ir. There's a heter of bala be'ir, but ishtoi be'ir is not a heter. It's only a heter if the meshamrasoi, when she's mamash physically around you. That means, or in the same house. It doesn't have to be in the same room, same house. Or by some points, even it's in the backyard, the front yard, it's in the chotzer. But if she's not in the chotzer, then you're going into the problem of a a yichud. Now, for instance, if you have your wife went out to the grocery 50 minutes ago, and the grocery is 5 minutes away, and every second she could come, and the cleaning lady is in the house. So then since every second your wife could walk in, that's also a heter. But that's only if you don't know in every second she could come back. But if, for instance, your wife went away for half an hour now, and even though she's 3 blocks from here, since she's not with you, it's not a heter, and there is a iser yichud. When is it a problem, even if your wife is with you? It's a problem when a person deals with women. There's a halacha Shulchan Aruch, mi she'oske im anoshim, has more chumras. It's a machlokes rishonim basically. The Rambam holds that oske shel mi she'oske im anoshim, it's more lenient. That means since he's used to women, it's much easier. But most rishonim, and this is how the paskin Shulchan Aruch, iske im anoshim, it's a problem. That means if you deal with women, specific with women, that means you have some kind of business, which you're going to see soon, what it means, but some kind of business, which basically you deal with women. For instance, you sell women jewelry, or you sell women dresses, anything which has specific with dealing with women, that's a problem because you're much more comfortable with women. Then you have a problem of yichud more than a regular person. And some poskim will say, even if your wife is somewhere in the house, there's no such thing as ishte mishamrasoi when you deal with women mamash with this. Other poskim want to say ish mishamrasoi will help also for iske anushim. The master is that you have to be machmer. That means the person has a jewelry store in his house. Now, if he has a jewelry store on the street with a door front, is going to have other heter of basic psich, as we're going to see soon. But if it is a storefront, not a storefront, you have let's say you have downstairs fixed basement which you sell jewelry over there, and women come in and it's dafka women jewelry. Therefore, even if your wife is, let's say, upstairs in cleaning the bedroom, making pesach, but you're alone in this room with a lady, and even if a lady you don't know, it's not iske manushim, it's not the pshat only people who you know. Automatically, since you're dealing with women and you're comfortable with them, you have more chimra that you shouldn't have yichud even for a lady which you don't know. And even if your wife is, let's say, upstairs, according to this poskim, it is also be yichud, and the achroinim right in such a case that you should be machmer.
Does this mean
Yam shloima, and then the spetige achroinim, the gru and the Shavit Alayvi say in such a case you should be a machmer. Although it's machloikes, in such a case you should be a machmer. What do you say?
Is this only an occupation that's exclusively for women, or is it also
exclusively with a woman? That means if you have a grocery store and anybody could buy there, although 98% of the clients will be women, but the grocery store is not a thing which is dedicated for women. Men can also come in. Or you're selling housewares, which usually who comes in buy houseware? Except it's before Pesach, your wife will send you. But usually the women will come and buy things. That's not considered iske manoshim. Iske manoshim zoeken the achroinam. It is, the Shulchan Aruch wird ausgerechnet, what does it mean? I'll just give you the language. Iske manoshim means you sell jewelry for women, or you fix women jewelry, or you sell perfume, makeup, things which is dedicated especially for women, or you working with women dresses, or a person which makes cosmetica for women, and kemuvan, a doctor, a women's doctor. So therefore, in such a case, it's called iske manusha. It's not considered somebody has a store, although most of them will be manusha. In such a case, even your wife is somewhere around, it is a problem. Now again, you have other attire. You can have the heter of it's not a matzah yichud. If you have a storefront, people could look through. It's not a matzah yichud to begin with. But if it is a matzah yichud, then this heter is not a heter of ishte imay. Okay. So as we mentioned before, one-on-one is a issa daraisa. When it comes to one-on-two, it is a issa derabanan. So the halacha is like this: two-person people, which are basically not known to be, how do you say? There's no rumors that they have to do with non-kosher things. That means a regular yid which has a cheskes kashrus. Two men, if they have yichud with one lady, it's a machloikes rishonim. The mechaber holds that it is a problem. Let's begin a minute ahead. The Mishnah says that two men are permitted to be meyached with one lady. Let me just make it clear first. Two ladies are not permitted to be meyached the choladayis with one man. But two men with one lady, zug the Mishnah, it is permitted. What's the reason? The reason is, since it's two men, one will not sin with the lady when there's another person which is around. So that's the Mishnah. So the Mishnah says clearly you could have yichud. Comes the Rambam and holds that since the Gemara talks about Reb Chanina Mapupa and his company, so the Rambam says only a person. The Mishnah says kshayrim. What does it mean kshayrim? So the Rambam says only a person which is Reb Chanina Mapupa. That means a big tzaddik. A tzaddik, two tzaddikim, two Yirei Shamayim, known Yirei Shamayim, they can have yichud with one lady. If a person is not in that category, it's awesome. That's the shittas of the Rambam, and the Shulchan Aruch paskins also like that. That means the Sfardim have a bigger issue than the Ashkenazim. The Sfardim will hold two men could not have yichud. Two men cannot have yichud with a lady. But the Ramu says no. Kshayra means any person which we never heard rumors on him that he has to do with women. If a person we never heard of him, never ever some kind of rumors about him, that's considered already kshayrim, and you could have yichud. Now the Svardim pass like the mechaber, and they're more machmer. The Ashkenazim in the Ashkenazim passing like Ashkenazim passing like the Ramu, that it is a more lenient in such a case. If you have any rumors on one of the persons that he has to do with women, he's fooling around, then it's a problem. And even if you have 10 people, if the 10 people are all pritzim, they have an issue to be meyachid with a lady. So that's a holidays. But if it's not pritzim lehedya, then it is permitted that two people should be meyachid with a lady.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
Any modern day Rabbanim discussing yichud with a man with, let's say, a gay person?
In Shulchan Aruch, the Shulchan Aruch says that Klal Ayid is not choshed al mishkav zucher. That's halacha machaber in Simon Chov Beis. In this Simon, we are not choshed al mishkav zucher. Did it change today? I would say no. If you know a person has a problem with this, that's something else. But if you don't know, just two men should be shazana is a yichud zut shtayt Shulchan Aruch as in zemen shchoishet as Yisrael of mishkav zucher, and therefore it's not a problem.
I'm asking specifically in the shlichus world, you're dealing with known gay men.
Yeah, but you with them, you have no problem with yichud with them. That means two gay men will have a problem, of course.
They would.
Of course. Okay. Because zij zoeken klur that that as an gay. If they say, of course, there's a problem. Two gay men have a yichud, of course. The Shechnur steht nur, bechlul is to machen is yichud is nicht geschieden al mishkezucher. Over here it's not geschieden. They tell you up front. They're proud. A new phenomenon. I'm proud to be sick. So, what is the problem for yichud?
Okay.
But isn't the chashash for mamzer?
From what?
Isn't the main chashash with Yehud is that there would be a mamzer?
No, chas v'sholem. Even a person cannot have children. There's is a yichud min haTorah. The bia itself is a deraisa. Why we can go on a mamzer? It is maybe you got confused with something else. The halacha is if a woman had yichud, is a ganze shalen alo is shechnorach when they give her malchus if machrizne leim. Of them to the gemura, but Aisha says you don't announce it because you should have a chashash on the children. So therefore, even if you give malchus, you don't announce it. If it's not a chashash with Aisha says, then you announce it that she's getting malchus because she had yichud. But the chashash is yichud has nothing to do with mamzer or not. No.
What is the appetite, or what's the reasoning for the reason that we're careful? It's mitzad, we're afraid the man may do something, we're afraid the woman.
You're bringing up very, very nice thing. The chashash is the man will do, not the woman will do. No, not the woman will initiate. The man will initiate, and it has ramifications. Down the road, we're going to see by some halachas that the kiddush advurim is, like you said, the man will initiate the nikid. As we're going to see soon. So the guys are talking this question. What?
Yeah. It's really protecting her, not protecting.
It's protecting both. They shouldn't sin, but usually the man is the troublemaker, not the women. That's usually
Shash of the man. Yeah.
The marshal by mechitza, they say there's marshal one color glass. Al pi halacha, the woman can see the man. The is the man's on the gen.
Exactly.
Yes, one-sided glass by mechitzas.
Yeah, exactly. A woman has no problem of looking at men. There are some which want to say that they have a problem of hitter, but according to most poskim, women have no problem of hitter, and therefore they could see. Now there's such a thing, extra luchas that they cannot see men naked. There's extra luchas, but als the Indian van hitter and tefillah, we don't have this chashash. You're right, and that's why they could look into the men room, and they could look as men dance, and men cannot see how women dance. Yeah. Okay, so again, as we mentioned, Shnai Anushim Kshayrim is our mutter to be miyachid with a lady. If one is a puretz, one is a kosher, some people, poskim will say, both have to be kshayrim. Some people will say that if one person is a puretz, it's not good. And there's a third shitta which says, makes a chrua. One, if two yid are miyachid with a lady, and one is a puretz, it doesn't help. If it's a yid and a goy, even the goy, every goy is considered poratz, then we could be more lenient. And the kid said what it is because a goy cannot contain himself at darshan and amatzug. He's gonna popularize it. He's gonna say around the problem. So the yid will be ashamed of doing sin in front of the goy. Now, whenever we say that two people, it's okay to have yichud. That's only during the day, a regular circumstances. That means during the day, two men have a meeting with a lady, it shouldn't be a problem of yichud because two men, everybody protects each other. If it is in a matzav on the way, you're going on a way, and what does it mean away? Away in such a case, which is a sada. That means if, for instance, as I gave before the marshal, if you're going in for you're going into the mountains, or you're going into mountains, you're going on a hiking, yeah? Two men are going on a hike, and there's one lady over there. In such a case, it's a problem. That's called bederech. Why? because we are achshash that one person will need to go to the toilet, and since there's no toilets over there, he's gonna have to go under a tree. But since he doesn't want people to see what he's doing, he's gonna walk away far away, and therefore it's gonna be a matzav that the man and the woman will stay alone, and says then they could sin. So therefore, if you're in a matzav from derech on the way, then it is you have to have a third shoymer. That means you have to have three men and one woman, because even if one will go to the toilet, you're going away to relieve himself. At least you still stay with two people which are not a matzav for yichud. So therefore, it's dafkin a matzav derech, which is ke'en suda. That's why in the Lushne Gemara is bederech. The Ramu changed the Lush and it said suda, because the poskim say the Ramu wants to kvetch. It is only derech k'may suda. So again, it's not realistic in our way so much, because if it's a regular highway, even if you're going out if you stop in a rest area, and one man is going, you have two men, and one man will go into the rest area to the toilet, and the man and the woman will stay alone. It's not a problem, because every second, since he doesn't go far away, he goes into the room and right away comes back. And b'chal, it's a matzav which is more people could see, so therefore it's not a problem. It's only in a way at the scenario, as I mentioned before, if you go hiking and you and your friend come across one lady, even if it's the middle of the day, it will be a problem, because that's called baderech. The second klal has to be that it has to be bayoim. If it is a matzav of lailu, that means it's a matzav that you are going to go to sleep already, then it won't help two people. That means if you have two people which have a matzav of yichud at night, so you have a lady sleeping in this house and two men are sleeping in this house, it's also yichud. Why? Because we always, when a person, we are afraid, even if they're not sleeping, but since it's a time when people will sleep, I'm afraid one of the people will go to sleep, will go to bed, and therefore it will stay a man or woman, and that's a matzav yichud. So therefore, balayla, when it's a time to go to sleep, once it gets a time to go to sleep, it is a problem, and you have to have three people. Once you have three people, three men and one woman, it's shonish kam problem afila when they're sleeping, because we always every person will be afraid maybe the other person will wake up or walk out. From three people already, it's not a problem. So three men are sleeping in the same house as one woman, then it's the guy are very much. Sometimes you're going to a Baba's house, yeah, and then the Einiglich come together, Kinnes Ashlichem, yeah, they live by the Baba's house, yeah, and therefore you have a bunch of boys English, and there's one girl over there too, and there's Yichud, first cousins, there's Yichud, there's no heter of the Zachen, or even sister-in-laws, as I mentioned. So therefore, if it is a matzav, you have more than two people, it's at night, it's three people, then it is okay, because at night you have of the shoymer. But if it's not a time that people go to sleep yet, or it's a matzav that means that, for instance, you are in a house and a boy and a girl comes to visit you, yeah. So now you have two men and one lady, but they are leaving. They're not going to go sleep here. They came out to visit, even though it's 12 o'clock at night. But since now it's a matzav that they're not going to sleep, we're not afraid somebody's going to fall asleep, because they came just to visit and they're moving on. So therefore, that's also not considered lailu, and it's enough two men and one woman. When is you need an extra shoymer is when you have a matzav of, or it's a matzav of soda, or that means it's called baderech, or it's a matzav of lailu, which people go to sleep. So therefore, when it comes to which we have a lot of times, you have problems of babysitters. Yeah. Now, if you have two boys, and it's not a time that basically they're going to go sleep, that means they're going to go. The time of going to sleep, it turns night. It turns in the winter 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock even. Yeah. And by the time 8 o'clock, the parents will be home, will be back. So it's not the derech to go to sleep before 8 o'clock. So then two men and one woman will also help. It's not a man of going to sleep over there.
You said before that if in the Bubba's house, if the Bubba's there wouldn't she take away the?
Oh, you're going into the whole different subject that if she takes it away. No, she doesn't take it away. She is considered a shomer, but she's not shomer on another one. That means if your Bobby is there and two first cousins are in the house, yeah, and it's at night, yeah, then you have a matzav yichud. That means a first cousin boy with a first cousin girl, and the Bobby is over there in the house, at night it's a problem. Because although she's a shomer, she's only one shomer, and at night we need two shomer. During the day, it's enough one shomer. And since your Bobby is not yichud with you, so then she's a shomer for you, you know. But when it comes at night, the Bobby is one shomer, you have to have two shomer. So therefore, it's a problem.
Because of sleeping, the problem is because
the Bob is going to sleep, exactly.
So if it's not very late, of course she won't be going to sleep then.
Exactly. If it's not a time, as I gave in the scenario before, it's before 8 o'clock or the 9 o'clock, whatever, it's not a time which people go to sleep. It will help. It's still considered yoim, because yoim and lailu over here is not day and night. Yoim and lailu is considered zman shlofen and the zman which you don't go to sleep. Okay, so that's all what we spoke was basically 2 men and 1 lady. What's doing the other side? 1 man and 2 ladies. Steht nicht genoeg klar, auf dem in Schuhe kacholkem, it's osser. 2 ladies with 1 man is osser. There's a reason, what Pashtas the reason is, there's 2 reasons. One reason is nushim dat and kalam, that means she might sin even if she has a friend, you know. So therefore we have to be machmar, and she has a friend which is there. We are afraid that the husband, the man, will convince both of them to sin. So therefore, 2 women and 1 man is osel cholodais. What's doing about 3 men? I'm sorry, 1 man and 3 women by day, or 1 man and 4 women by night. Is according to most Rishonim, it is still osir. That means 1 man could never have yichud even with 10 women. And that shit is a Mechaber, that shit is a Rambam, that shit is of, I would say, Ruba the Ribba of the Poiskim. Rasha, what?
Even during the day.
Even during the day, correct. Even during the day. Rasha holds that by women, it's mutter if it's 1 more. That means 3 women by day and 4 women at night. That's shittis Rasha. The remove brings it down, and Lamasa zung the poiskim that the remove brings it down yesh matirim. He doesn't paskin. He doesn't paskin. So he brings down the mechaber and the paskins like the Rambam in most of Shoyrim it's aser. The remove says yesh matirim, that shittis Rasha. So the Achroidim say if it's not a shasat chak, if it's not mamash a big reason, or you don't have other tzirufim, you should not rely on shittis Rasha itself. If you have other tzirufim, or it's a shasat chak, then you could rely on shittis Rasha. That means during the day, 3 women will be enough. During at night, has to be 4 women. If the man is a poritz, there are some poskim which want to say even Rasha was not Michael if the man is a poritz. So therefore, if the man has known that basically he has issues with women, so therefore even the Rasha will be maskam that he cannot be miyachad even with 10 women itself. Fine. That's 3 women or 4 women with 1 man. Then there's a Rambam which the Rambam passes, although the Rambam is ayr machmer in chsiche, the Rambam says noshim harbe im anoshim harbe, a few men with a few women, it's not a problem of yichud. So now we're going into what is considered a few. So some poskim say 3 and 3. 3 men, 3 women, no yichud. And that's according to all the poskim. Some poskim want to say even 2 men and 2 women is already considered anushim harbe and anushim harbe, and therefore you could be lenient. But Lamasa, other achronim are not happy with this heter, and they want to pass like the Chachmas Udam and like some other poskim, which make basically the Chofetz Chaim brings it down also, that basically they want to make a pshura. That means 2 women with 2 men, you should be machmer. 3 women with 2 men, you could be machmer. So again, this is a component of the zach which is most applicable. That at least again, shas chag, if it's a thing which you need, especially if you have other tzerifim. But even if you don't have shas chag, 2 men and 2 women, it is, you could be Michael, but like Gitchila, you should have at least 3 women. Even the men are 2, it should be 3 women. And if there is a lot, that means there's 3 men and 3 women, even a person which they deal with women, which although then they're more machmar, in such a case, we could be more Michael. Okay, so we have now, let's just sum it up again. 1 man with 2 women is also l'choladayis. 1 man with 3 women by day, according to Rashi, it's okay. By night, you need to have 4 women. According to Rav Poskim, it's a problem. If you have a shasat chak, or it's or you have other tzeriyufim to go along with this heter, you could be Michael. 2 men and one woman, according to the Rambam in the Machaber, which paskins, it's a problem because only kshayrim, real kshayrim, could be Michael, as the Gemara says, but not a person which we don't know for sure that he's a big tzaddik. But the remove paskins, like the other Rishonim, the Rosh, with other poskim, most poskim, which hold that basically 2 men and 1 woman, it's okay as long as you don't know that he has issues with women, and that's by day. If it's at night, you need to have 3 men because you have to have extra Rishonim. If you have 3 men and 3 women, the choladais is okay. If you have 2 men and 2 women, according to some poskim, it's okay. And if you have 2 men and 3 women, that's the apshura that you could be Michael, even according to the people who say 2 and 2 is not a chimra. It's not permitted. Okay, now yichid. Now let's go over the matz of the house of yichid. What is considered yichid? Now yichid is considered a closed house. A closed house. A closed house means you have an apartment, which the front door is closed, locked, and you have a lady sleeping in 1 room or using 1 room, and you rent it out one bedroom for a lady, one bedroom for a man. That's yichid. Although they're separate rooms, but the house is a house which is basically locked, closed. So that's a matzah of yichid. It doesn't have to be 1 room. It could be even 2 rooms as long as it is 1 house. They use a kitchen together. They use a toilet together. They have to come to the hallway in order to go out to the building. So that's considered yichid, and that's for sure that's for sure considered a problem of yichid. There is another thing also. When there is 2 rooms and you have women in 1 room, that means you have a common problem by officers or shlichim have this problem. You have the front desk sits 3 ladies, which basically are secretaries, and in the back you have 3 men, which sitting and doing their business, fundraising, whatever it should be. Now, if it would have been in 1 big room, as we mentioned before, 3 men and 3 women, what's the halacha? 3 men and 3 women. It's called anushim harba v'anushim harba. That's not a problem of yichid. But now, when they're in 2 rooms, but the inside room has to go through the front room to go out, and it's locked. It's front. You cannot come into the building. It's locked. What is the halacha? Now the Gemara says, if there is a matzav of yichid pnimi v'chitzen, there's a pnimi v'chitzen. So one Amora says that men inside, women outside is a problem, because when the men come out, they have to go through the room of the women, and therefore it's a problem. One Amore says vice versa. If the women are inside and the men are outside, then it's a problem, because I'm afraid one man will go inside into the inside room, and there was a matzav yichud. And the Gemara says, since we don't know what we have to we have to be machmara on both. So again, the halacha is, it's no difference if the men are inside or the women are inside, as long as it's two rooms and the inside has to go through the outside, it is considered in the Geder fin yichud pnimi v'chitzen. Okay. Now the Rambam paskens, if one person from the inside, a man from the inside, goes into the outside room, or vice versa, a man from outside, if the men are front desk and the women are in the back, a man from inside goes into from outside goes into the inside room, pasken the Rambam, as then it's a problem of yichud. If nobody walks out, nobody goes out, it is just everybody is basically stays in their room, it's not a problem of yichud. That is Shittas Rambam. Rashi holds, no. Even if nobody moves, you have women inside and men outside, or vice versa, men inside, women outside, even though nobody moved, the eitzem zach, that one has to go through the other, that's already considered a matzav of yichud, and there is a problem. So again, when you have an office which the inside has to go through the outside, and the front door is locked, you have a problem of yichud, and you have to be machmer. And since Rashi holds it's a problem of yichud, we are machmer like Rashi. So again, we have to make very careful, people who have offices, how to set up offices. That's only if they have to go through, if everybody has separate rooms and separate entrances, that's something else, because nobody has to go through the other one. But if you have to go through from inside to outside, or vice versa, then you have a serious issue. And that's why it's always good out when you build an office, or when then you should check it out how it is and ask her off, if it is in such a case, how to solve this problem. I had already a couple of shluchim calling me how to solve such a case, how to design an office, because you're going into problems of yichud. Now, this is not necessarily if it's in an office. This could also be if there's a two-family house, which there's a hallway, there's a hallway, and two apartments are open to that hallway. Now, if you know that there's a single man living in one apartment and a single girl living in another apartment, the eitzem zach, that there's one man and one woman, and they have to go through a hallway together, and it's not a public hallway, is according to Rashi, it's a problem, and it's also. So people don't realize, if you have, for instance, a person which is single, which lives on the upper floor, and he rents out the basement for a girl, you're going to get into serious problems. Now, if everybody has separate entrances, then is a machlokas ochta poskem if the door is not locked. And in such a case, at least you put a lock, and both could lock the door in between. But if they have to use a hallway, both have to use the hallway to go out of the house, it is osir mitzad yichud according to Shittas Rasha, even if everybody is in their apartment. If you know that it's a one-on-one, you have a big issue about this. Okay, so what is the hatayr, and when can we be lenient when you have a matzav yichud? Okay, the first hatter is Baal Be'ir. We have a halacha that if Baal Be'ir, he's in town, then it's not a problem of yichud.
Yes, quickly.
Some poskim will say that, according to some Rishonim, that's Rasha, that it is a problem of yichud. It's only you're not malkin all of this. You don't give malchus on this, but there's a problem of yichud. Other poskim hold, no, it's not a problem of yichud. Baal Be'ir is not a problem of yichud. Steht schon of them in the Achroinim, in the Rabban Yericham already, Rishonim, that Bal Nefesh yesh lachmer. Okay, but again, it's about Nefesh, and if it's a matzah which you cannot be machmir, then at least most Rishonim hold that Pesach Pesach is a heter, and therefore, I'm sorry, Bala Be'ir is a heter, and therefore Bala Be'ir is, you have, that means if you're sitting in the house, the women, a lady sitting in the house, and a plumber is coming, and the husband went out to shul. Now, even though he's not going to come the next half an hour, because, at least half an hour it takes shachas, So therefore, maybe half an hour she has time to sin. The husband is, so automatically he can always come back. The Apoiskim which say it's shittas of the Chazon Ish, and basically it's already shittas achidu and Yosef, that not necessarily he could come back, even if it's a matter that he cannot come back. He's in a meeting, he's in a meeting, he can't come back, or he's driving back in the ear with the traffic, in Crown Heights, going from 770 till Empire Boulevard will take you half an hour. But since he is in town, so the Loshen, it says on nerve, a woman is afraid when the husband is in town and she will not sin. Again, other person say no, only when he could come by. But again, yes, the husband has to go to Shachras, you have a plumber just arrived. Then, in such a case, Bala Be'ir could be a heter if he's in town. But Bala Be'ir is, again, and that's only for Matzah V'yichid. That means only if the doors are closed. If the doors are open, then you go to other heter of Pesach Pesach, which is going to come down next. But if the doors are locked, then you have a heter of Bala Be'ir. If the lady went to a man for a meeting, to her boss, to the boss's office, she's working home, but once in a while she has to go to the office of the boss, and the husband knows she goes to the office, and he's in town. We have a machlokas. Some poskim will hold that even though that he knows where she is, Adraba, since she got reshis to go there, it is worse. Other person will say no, since he knows where she went, he can always pop by, and therefore it's mutter. Well, that's only if he knows where she went. If she went to a place where, let's say she went to a office which the husband does not know where she went, and she's one-on-one with a man, then Bala Be'ir will not help because he doesn't know where she is. So again, Bala Be'ir is when the wife is at home and there is a matzah v'yichid and the husband is in shul and is davening, then you have a heter Bala Be'ir, even if he won't come home the next half an hour. Because he could come home, or it's a nerve. If she went b'rshis Bala to be meyachid with someone, some person will say that that's better, because at least he knows where she is. She could always pop by, and he could always pop by and come in. Some person will say, no, since she has permission to go, so she's not afraid because she had permission. So that's a machloikas. Again, only b'shas atchak we should be Michael. If the husband does not know where the husband went, where the wife went, then Bala Be'ir is b'chal not a heter, because he doesn't know where b'chal she is, so she's not afraid. Now, this heter of Bala Be'ir, this is a heter no regular yichid. For instance, Liba Gasba, over here, it doesn't help. That means if a sister-in-law which grew up with the husband, that means the brother-in-law married when the sister-in-law was, a small child, small little girl, and automatically Liba Gasba, being together in one house for so many years, Liba Gasba, and now this small sister-in-law is at home, and the brother-in-law comes visiting. Although the husband is at davening and he can pop by every second, and Bala Be'ir, over here you don't have this heter. Liba Gasba, Homan is the heter fin Bala Be'ir. This is a very important halacha, because although we use a lot the Bala Be'ir, if it is someone which Liba Gasba, for instance, another moshel, for example, what's called Libagazba, adopted child, which is Libagazba. So if, for instance, a family adopted the boy, and the husband is by davening, and the adopted mother is together with the bocher over at house, so that's a yichud one-on-one. So you don't have a heter bala be'ir because Libagazba. In such a case, you have a problem. You have to have other hetairim. That's one heter, bala be'ir. Now there's another heter. Now there's another heter which is called Pesach Pesich B'Shisaram. The door is open in Shisaram. Now, first of all, what does it mean the door is opened? Big machloikas. Does it mean the door is open physically? Or does it mean the door is unlocked? It's closed, but it's unlocked, and people could walk in. Now, the Chronim Zugan, lekitchila, if you can, in a case which you have such a matzav yichud, you should open the door. You have to machmer like eiger. And if it's a summer day, open the door, and it's not a problem for yichud because the door is open and people could walk in, and that's called Pesach Shisaram.
How much is open?
What?
How much open is considered opened?
People, if it's open, that people see an open door and they have no issue to walking in. And that will help when the door is open, even if you are in a room which we cannot see you. Since the door is open, it's a matzav where people is a matzav that when the door is open, people will walk in. Therefore, it's not a problem. If it is closed and it's not locked, some poskim will say that's enough. The poskim will say, if you don't need to have this is a big killer, you should try to have it open. If you can, that will be also a heter. That means as long as now, but there's some conditions. As I mentioned before, if it is a place which nobody is going to walk in somebody else's house without knocking, nobody is going to call you to walk in without knocking. There are places or things, even your children will not walk in. You ring the bell, you don't walk in a house, in your mother's house. I'm not talking about the children which are still in a house. It's not a problem. They walk in. But you have married children, you married all your children. A child will not walk in a place which a child will not walk in without knocking. So that's not called Pesach Pasich, because nobody's going to walk in. Or there are cultures which I know in England, there's not such a thing. Somebody walk in and somebody else's house without knocking, or you get permission, even if it's a close relative. There's not such a thing. You don't walk in the house. In such a case, it's not Pesach Pasich. It has to be in a case which basically it could happen. A person should walk in without knocking, or if you have children which live around and they can always pop by and they knock in, which I had when I was in Muncie. My children always came in without, So in such a case, it's not a problem. Same will go at night. At night, nobody will walk in. So if it's after an hour, which nobody's going to walk in, even your children, or nobody is going to walk in the house because it's at night, so that's no heter of a Pesach Pasich. So if you have a guest, you are a single man, you have a guest sleeping over there, and it's a matzav yichud, although you had your house unlocked because you're living in a town which everybody has guns, and you're not afraid, it should be unlocked. But it's a matzav yichud. I Pesach Shisaram, nobody's going to walk in. So therefore, in the same way, if it's open, even if the door is open, if you leave it wide open, since it is a matzav at night which nobody's going to walk into someone else's house or from a time, then we are going to say that that's not a heter of Pesach Shisaram. So when is Pesach Shisaram is? If lekitchila open the door, leave it open. If it's not possible, even if it's unlocked, you could rely on it, but it has to be a time which people will walk in and a place which it can happen, people should walk in. Another ites is also, if you have, you have to have a bal malacha, then you say for the neighbor, you call the neighbor and you say, you should know, I have a bal malacha is coming, I don't want you to be a matzav yichud, please pop by. That's also considered the Pesach Shisaram, because he could pop by and come and open the door and can walk in.
Does the
Or you
person
call
inside,
someone. What?
does the person inside need to know that somebody else is going to may come in?
He doesn't have to know. The lady can know is also good.
But the lady has to know, or yeah.
Somebody, of course, somebody has to know that he could come in. Yeah. If not, If not, then how is it Pesach
No.
Shishis Rabban? Of course.
I mean,
And
she has
that's-
to know.
that- What?
She has to know that somebody else may come in.
He or she, yeah. And that's why sometimes it's a big problem. Babysitting, that's thing you give. If you say for a neighbor, you have a babysitter, you cannot. So you say for a neighbor, do me a favor, walk by, stop by, pop in. So, and you leave the door open. So then, in such a case, you could say, Pesach Shishis Rabban. It's auch nicht also push it, because some people will say, has to be Pesach Shishis Rabban. Other people will say, boys will say, it's enough, it's Pesach Chutza. That means the concept, it's open for other people. Other people, boys will say, has to be Shishis Rabban. But okay, this we are being more lenient that Pesach Chutza is also enough. So therefore, it's also kedai if in the matter that you have a babysitter, you cannot find a way out, and you say for a neighbor, and again, you have to make sure what kind of neighbor, because sometimes if it's a lady, then you might add on another lady. It's not helpful still, because again, as I mentioned before, a lady, you have to have 3. Again, you have to see, make sure that if she walks in or if he walks in, it's not a matzah of yichud. Now, if the Pesach Shishis Rabban is a heter also for somebody who is iske manushim, we have a big machlokas. If it will help, because as I mentioned before, iske manushim, since he's comfortable with women, we put out more chimers on him. So over here, the poskim say, since some poskim say that iske manushim is not a heter, we should not rely on the poskim which say that an open door, an unlocked door, which is closed, but it's unlocked, that's enough. We shouldn't take both killers. That means only in a way which the door is wide open, then we are going to say that basically, even a person which is manushim, it should be okay. Now, if there is a closed circuit TV, this is a question which I get constantly. Can a closed circuit TV help for yichud? The answer is like this. If it is a closed circuit TV, which you could log into it at any time, it's not a heter. Because nobody logs in. Only when you have a problem, you're going back, looking at the TV, if it's wrong. But if it is in a place, a company, an office, which they have monitors in the boss's office or the manager's office, you have the monitors constantly recording, and the manager sits in the office, so he could see everything was going on. In such a case, you could use it for a tzirif, but only in such a case. Only such a case that basically that the closed circuit is constantly running and a person is sitting there, so he could always see what's going on. Just if the manager could go back and look if something happened, that's not a heter at all. And people do mistake this, that since we could log in, it's considered no, it's not a heter. It's not a heter at all. The only heter will be if there's a monitor and a person is in the office monitoring what's going on, then it's called Pesach Ram, a closed circuit TV. Now, another thing there is, if a person is a matzav yichud, and it's Pesach Ram, and it's wide open, so according to all the poskim, it's okay. But there's a closed circuit TV which tells me anybody who walks around and comes into the house, when he walks in, I could see. So over here, you don't have the heter of Pesach Ram, because you could watch, you could do whatever you want, and you could watch the TV, and once you see that somebody's walking in, you're going to stop. So if you have a video, a monitor which you're watching, everybody comes in, you lose the heter of Pesach Ram if the monitor is where the husband, the man is. If the monitor is in the room which the lady is, yeah, the monitor is in the room where the lady is, that is verkehrt. That means like this: if you have a closed circuit TV, and in the room where the lady is, there's 2 rooms, 2 offices. The room which the lady is, there's a closed circuit TV, then it doesn't help. Because when the man is coming in, fooling around with this girl, with this lady, he sees what's doing in the room, and therefore he can always stop. So he's not afraid. But if, for instance, the lady is sitting in an office which there's no CC camera, and the boss has a CC camera, and now he goes into the office of the lady, but in that office there isn't a closed circuit TV. So there, in such a case, it will help Pesach Shisaram. So again, just to make it clear again, since when the man comes into the lady's office in order to do something which is appropriate, he sees the camera and he can see if somebody comes in, and he can always stop whenever he sees someone. So that won't help Pesach Shisaram. But if the camera is in the man's room and he comes now in the women's office, yeah, and he doesn't have a CCTV camera, so therefore, then Pesach Shisaram, that will help. Now this helps, Pesach Shisaram will help even if you are not right against opposite the door. That means the door is wide open, people can walk in, and you are on the second floor. Because as long as the door is open, people can walk in, it's Pesach Shisaram. There's another heter, which is called the window. That means if the office of the lady is opened to the street, then it's also considered Pesach Shisaram because you can look in through the window. But then it's only in that room. That means if the lady's office has a window and she goes into the men's office, or she goes in a room in a hallway which nobody can see, that's not a heter. A window is a heter only because by Pesach Shisaram is the heter somebody could walk in. When you're talking about the heter of a window, that's not somebody could walk in. That's the heter is people could see in. So that's only in the room which people could see in. And therefore, they say when it comes at night, yeah, and there's a glass, which basically the glare does not let you look in. The only heter you have when there's a window is only when it's not a problem of darker and light. That means the people which is outside is more darker, which is usually to the office that she could see. He could see into the office. But for instance, if it's a dim lighting in the office and outdoors there's a big light, so therefore you cannot look in. Or if it's tinted windows, or there is a screen, it has to be in such a case that a person should be able to look into that window. Even there's no window shades or the window shades are open. In such a case, you can be lenient. But that's only in the room which they're sitting. If they pick themselves up, walk in a separate room, it's not heter of a window. But when you're talking about open door, it will be a heter even if you are not in the same room, because you're always afraid somebody was walk in.
Does it make a difference if the window is in his or her room?
If what?
Does it make a difference if you can see into her office or his office? Doesn't make a difference. Either or, yeah?
Either or, yeah. In that room which we can look in, that room is not yichud. In a room which nobody can look in, that is yichud. That means if you can look into the man's office, and he picks himself up and walks into the girl's office, that's yichud. Because in her office, in the room which is open for the street, is no yichud. Other rooms there is yichud. Okay, so now we have another. That's the second heter. So we mentioned before. One heter is Bala Be'ir. Second heter is Pesach Shisaram. Third heter is you have a shomer. A shomer means during the day one shomer is enough. During at night you have to have two shomerim, as I mentioned already before, because we're afraid somebody is going to go fall asleep. So you stay again without a shomer. So therefore at night you have an extra shomer. What is considered a shomer? Now a shomer is called a boy or a girl from when they are 5 years old till about 9 years old. That means like this. In order you should be able to be a shomer, you have to know, I know Maseres Asmelabia, but have to know Tambia. That means they have to know what it means, having some kind of, you're fooling around, and they will talk in the street. I saw, people hugging, whatever. That's only from 5 and up. Under 5, they don't understand what's going on, and nobody's afraid of a child of 3 years old over there or 4 years old. Once it becomes 5 and up, some person will say 6. They can put it from 5 and up. They are in a matzav which basically they know what's going on. They see something, they will talk, but they're not going to sin. Till 9 years old. So you have a girl which is 5 years old, till she's 9 years old, she's a shomer. If she is more than 9 years old, she's no shomer anymore. And then we have a problem of yichud, because a 9-year-old, let me just make it clear. Let's step back a minute. Iser yichud is for a girl which is 3 years old. That means a boy which is 13 years old has iser yichud to be meyached with a girl which is 3 years old. Under 3 is not a problem. From 3 and up, it's a problem of yichud. That's when the girl is 3 and the man is 13. If the girl is 12, bas mitzvah, she cannot have yichud only with a boy which is less than 9. That means an 8-year-old boy with a 12-year-old girl, it's not a yichud. Why? Because by a man, in order she should have Mercedes Asmelebi should have some kind of taiva, from 9 years old and up, then it's Mercedes Asmelebi. So if you have a 12-year-old girl with a 9-year-old boy, it's a problem of yichud. 8-year-old boy, it's not a problem of yichud. You have a 13-year-old boy with a 3-year-old girl, it's a problem of yichud. A 2.5-year-old girl, it's not a problem of yichud. Okay, that's clear. A boy on the bar mitzvah on the 13, a girl on the bas mitzvah on the 12, also not yichud. Although, as I mentioned before, a girl from 3 years old is yichud, and a boy from 9 years old, but that's only with an adult. That means the boy which is 9 years old with a woman adult, which is 12, or a girl which is 3 years old with a boy adult, which is 13 years old. But when the boy and the girl are under bar and bas mitzvah, no yichud. That's clear. Now, let's take these halachas to shomer. You have now over here a boy and a girl, which there are iser yichud. Yeah, iser yichud. For instance, you have a boy which is 13 with a 5-year-old girl. It's a problem of yichud. If there is another girl, which the other girl is 5 years old, or other boy which is 5 years old, they are a shomer. Till when? A girl till she's 9. Once she's 9, she's already Maseres Asma Labia, she loses the status of a shomer. A boy, although if he becomes to 9 years old, he is also in the gather of Maseres Asma Labia, but let's assume even if it's 12, if it's 13, it's still 2 men and 1 woman, which we said before, according to the Remu, yeah, you can be Michael. So by a boy, it doesn't make a difference if he is 9 or older. Once he is 5 years and up, he's a shomer. By a girl, the shomer is going to be only from 5 till 9. That's regular cases. Let me just make it clear. The Achronim Bazmanaini say that people who are exposed when they're younger, that means you have people, boys which are exposed by the parents are watching TV, or they have internet and the children have access to that. Ravosden and other poskim hold that Maseres Asma Lebi goes down. That's already 9 is, they want to lower the years. But again, I hope us we are not talking about this kind of people. So till 9 years old, we have a shomer. But that, again, 1 shomer is enough only by day. If it's at night, you have to have 2 shomer. So for instance, if you have children, which you have a babysitter is coming in, yeah. So if you have 3 children, yeah, a girl which is 8 years old, a boy which is 6 years old, and a boy which is 5 years old, yeah. And now you want to have a girl should come babysitting. So, or you want to have a boy should come babysitting. So now the boy with the girl, the 8-year-old girl, it's yichud. But since they have 2 boys which is up higher than 5 years old, and so therefore it's okay because there's a shomer even at night. During the day, it's enough even 1 shomer. So again, let's make it clear. A man and a woman which have a matzah yichud, and there is a boy or a girl, and it could be their own children. It doesn't have to be a fremder. It could be own children. If you have a boy or a girl which is 5 years old till 9 years old, they are a shomer by day. At night, you need 2 shomer. If the girl is already over 9 years old, then she's not considered the shomer anymore because she's a problem already. She's already a problem. Now there's another halacha. There's an other kind of shomrim also. There are shomrim which are basically hating each other. Women who are hating each other. For instance, sister-in-laws. Sister-in-laws are hating each other. A kapurim also feel that if somebody is going to fool around, the sister-in-law is going to make sure everybody should know. So therefore, if you go to, for instance, to your shviger, yeah, and you and your shviger is yichud daraisa, but you have over there I said sister-in-laws, also a shviger and a shnir. We all know the famous a shviger doesn't like the shnir. A kaponim and hilchas yichud, it is like that. So therefore, if you walk into your mother-in-law, so you and your mother-in-law is yichud daraisa. And then over there, your wife's brother's wife is there. Your sister-in-law is there. That means the daughter-in-law of your shviger. So since it's yichud, shviger, and the shnir, it's not a problem. Because we say, if anybody's going to fool around, the other one is going to expose her. The shviger is going to talk in the whole city. You hear my shnir did something foolish, and the shnir will say, you hear my shviger did something foolish. So a daughter-in-law is a shomer. Sister-in-laws are shomerim. Sister-in-laws are shomerim. That means two sister-in-laws that are shomerim. That means if I, for instance, walk into a house and the lady's over there, it's not my sister-in-law. I am there, another lady's there, my co-worker, or a secretary is over there. But in her house, her sister-in-law is visiting. Any kind of sister-in-law. That means either the wife of the two brothers, or your brother's wife, or any sister-in-law is there. And they are shomerim. In such a case, there are shomerim. Nusha somrim zeh, and there are shomerim. And this will help even a person which oske shanusim. This is the biggest shomer which is possible. Even a person which is liba gazba. Even a person which is basically iske manushim. Even if he's a purat. And all these things, since there is two sister-in-laws, or there's a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law, or even, you know who else? A person remarried. Yeah, remarried. And his wife brought along a child. And I brought along a child. So bas ishtoi is also is a shomer. So again, all these things are shomerim, and therefore it won't be a problem of yichud. Not the wife's daughter. For instance, a lady has a yichud with a plumber, came to fix something, and the husband's daughter is over there. This is the husband's daughter is a shomer. The husband of not I said before, the wife's daughter. No, the wife's daughter is not a shomer. It's only the mother is a shomer for the daughter. But I'm talking soinem zeh is the husband's daughter. A lady remarried, and the husband brought in a daughter. And the wife has a yichud with someone else, the husband's daughter will expose her stepmother, and therefore it's not a problem of yichud. Okay, so now let's finish with one final halacha. Is going to doctors, which is a very big problem. Person is going to a doctor. Now the best thing is a lady needs to go to a doctor. If she can, she should go to a women doctor, especially if it's a OBGYN. If you can't, go to a doctor, which is a lady. And the Rabbi wants to say, even if you have the doctor, you don't have to pay because it's a Medicaid doctor. And the other doctor, the only doctor in town, which is a lady, costs money, that you should pay you have to pay for a women doctor and not to go to a man doctor. But that's, again, if both are the same professionals, the same mimcha. If the man is a big mimcha, there is no reason that you should spend, that you have to go to a women doctor. If they are the same caliber, then you have to even pay in order to go to a women doctor. Because not, you're going to have big problems of here. Now again, a lady has to go to a doctor. What do you do over there? It's a big problem. Why? Because the doctor is in a massive of yichud with the lady. Now you're going to say the door is not locked; it's unlocked. But in a doctor's office, nobody walks in to a doctor's office in where the doctor is together with the patient without knocking and getting permission to come in. So automatically, the Pesach Pasir Shisra will not help. Baal Be'ir is auch nicht so pushed, but that's, if you don't have another option, Shtayt Puperuf and Vaya Yosef and Ravosner and other points can say, if it's possible, if it's a possibility, the husband should go. Better if the lady could go with another lady. And if she could go with another lady, that will be much easier. If it's not possible, at least she should go with the husband. And she should ask that they should leave open a little bit the door, and ask that the nurse should walk in also without knocking. It's a little complicated. Lamar says it's very schwer in the doctor's office, but the poskim sagen, if it's possible, that she should always take with her, or a small girl, or a friend, which should at least be sitting in the outside room and asking that you should be open to drop the door. It's a complicated issue. But again, if you don't have the other option, that's the option. Or the husband should be around, and when she goes into the room, the whole time when she's in the front waiting room, then the husband cannot be there. There's other women, since it's a possibility, OBGYN. But once she goes into the office from the doctor, then you should walk in. Again, it's alles a schwere Sachen, because it's a little bit a problem. Some person wants to be lenient because since he's a doctor, they will sue him. Other poskim does not accept this thing. So again, we have to try to have whatever is possible, that you should ask the nurse should walk in at least, and there should be a little bit open the door, some kind of shmira. That's the best thing. But that's only when there's people in the outside doors. It's a tzirif. They have other lady waiting outside. Sometimes you are going to have 5 o'clock they lock the door, and a lady is going to be the last appointment. Then you're going into real problems, because that before you had a problem only because it's not nimus that you walk in. So again, you still have that the husband could be oibechuchem and walk in. But once the door is locked and she's the only one left in the office, then it's not a hatter, and then you cannot be there alone. So again, that's the thing which you have to take in consideration. So therefore, it's always kedai that you should have a kusher fro should go begleitig and make sure the door is opened. And again, as I mentioned before, try if you could open a little bit the door and the nurse will walk in. And that's for all this reason. It's kedai if you can. And b'chlal, today's day, it's a big movement by women that they should go to women doctors, because they feel that they understand much more the women than a man. And tuvul of bruch, if somebody could go to a women doctor and not go to a doctor which is a man. Well, fine, we have to remember that we're driving in a car today's day, if you don't have tinted windows, it's not a problem, because if it's not 3 o'clock in the morning, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and there's no cars within 10 minutes, then it's a matzah yichud, as I mentioned before. Even if in a field, if there isn't people, it's yichud. But if it's not 3 o'clock in the morning, driving in the road, it's not a matzah yichud. People can look in, but that's only if you don't have tinted windows. If you do have tinted windows, you have to make sure that the light is on. People should be able to look into the car, because if you don't have a light on and it's tinted windows, you cannot look in. It's a matzah yichud. So therefore, you have to make sure the light is on and then people could look in. When does he have a problem? Sometimes there's bus drivers which drop off. Is a drop off. You're going to the Catskills and they drop off, you know, this Bungle County, and the last woman or two or three women have yichud with the driver. So that's a big problem. So you have to make sure to have this in mind to go off once the people are getting only less than three women. Then you have to make sure to go off and arrange in such a kind of case. People do not realize it's a problem of yichud. So again, this is very short, a synopsis of the whole yichud. Beklulius, there's a lot of protum, but at least anybody who learned the yichud will know exactly what we spoke, and the people who will learn next week yichud at least will have the concepts what we spoke, and we'll have it a little bit easier when they're going to learn Simcha Bayis. And again, I apologize. Sorry for the delay, and sorry for teaching Chasichah, because this is what I got from management, that it should be a Chasichah. And good night. In Lenin, in whoever is a poisik also should have a sloch in Paskinan, and Siyata Deshmaya, Shrei Kushu B'dvar Alucha. Call to good night.
Shikoyach.
Amen.
Anyone has a question which wants to ask, or
It says Ben Tesha, not Ben Shloshesra.
Ben Taisha, what?
A boy, it says Ben Tesha.
Yeah, I said Ben Taisha, a boy, and 3 years old for a girl. But we are talking about a boy from 9 years old with a girl of 12 is already yichud. Exactly, from Taisha. This is what I said before. I said a girl and a boy under 12 and 13, there's no problem. That means a boy Ben Taisha with a girl Ben Eser is no yichud. When it says a boy Ben Taisha, that's only with a girl which is a Gdoli. Got it?
Mutar letiyached imahem.
ילד מתחת לבר מצווה וילדה מתחת לבת מצווה אין איסור ייחוד. ילד מ9 למעלה עם בת 12 יש ייחוד. בת 12 בן 13 עם בת 4 עם בת 3.5 יש ייחוד. אצל נקייבה, אצל ילדה, מ3 עם גודל יש ייחוד. אצל זוכר, מ9 עם גדולה יש ייחוד. פחות מ12 לילדה, פחות מ13 לבחור, ביניהם אין ייחוד.
הבנתי, תודה.
כל טוב.